Welcome. My name is Heidi Vance, and I'm going to lead you today in a gentle flow. I want you to just come to a comfortable seated position, whatever that might look like. Perhaps you roll up a towel or blanket and put it underneath your glutes just to lift the hips a bit. Sit out your mat in a comfortable, safe place for you where there's less disruption and a little bit more calm, so you can just enter into the practice fully being present in your mind, your heart, and your body. As you sit here, I want you to initiate the breath. Pull your glutes or any excess flesh just away from the bottom so that you can really have your sits bones rooting down in through the mat, feeling your body, fully achieving presence here. Maybe your palms stay where they are. Maybe they come open on your knees. Maybe they come hands to heart center if that feels safe for you. Initiating the breath with a sweeping inhale and a long exhale. So your inhales are deep belly breaths, starting from the belly, sweeping all the way up through the nose. Exhales are long, pushing the air out as if fogging up a window pane. Continuing with the breath here, building a habitual pattern to the breath. Maybe you even notice the exhale can become a little longer than the inhale, really soothing that parasympathetic nervous system, achieving a place of calmness, stillness within your skin. As you sit here, just noticing what you need today, and then moving with me when you feel ready. Perhaps the palms just shift up, extending the arms high toward the heavens, clasping the fingers together, turning the palms up and away. And then as you exhale, rounding out the back, pushing the palms away from the heart space. Maybe you let the neck fall side to side. Inhale it, come back up, let the heart shine forward. And then as you exhale, let the hands come to the sides of the hips. One more time, take it or leave it. Listen to your body. Inhale up. Palms come together, extend them forward. And then as you exhale, bring the hands to heart and push away, rounding into the spine, letting the neck roll side to side. As you inhale, get tall once again, the shoulders away from the ears. And then exhale, hands come down. Once again, your choice, your way. If you want to do this with me one more time, feel free to do that. Inhaling up. As you exhale, hands to heart, round the spine, let the neck just droop forward. Maybe this feels good, maybe it doesn't. Let your body be the barometer today that tells you what you need. As your hands come down on either sides of the hips, we're just going to stretch in the neck, but first we want to switch the feet. So whatever foot's in front, make sure the other foot comes in front. Sitting tall, the shoulders are rooting away from the ears, and then reach up on the inhale. The right hand comes down, reaching over to the side. The left hand is going to come around and reach for the temple. And then just pull gently with a slight pressure. That left ear comes toward that left shoulder. Gentle pressure. Just noticing, observing how it feels to stretch into this part of the neck here. We come here with no judgment, just observation. If you feel good, stay there. If you wish for something different, just slowly take your gaze toward your knee. Just opening up a different side of the neck. I want you to notice and observe, experience what it feels like in your body to be in this space. So there's no wrong choice here. The only requirement is the breath today. Inhale, that hand comes back high, and then just kind of reach over, allowing that arm to come up and gazing under that armpit perhaps, and just noticing kind of the height you can get there. If you want to gaze up, you may, looking for the hand. Just a nice side body stretch. Be sure you're pressing that left hip deeply into the mat. Inhaling up, bringing the hands to heart center this time. Just noticing, checking in with the heart as those thumbs press deeply into the heart space. Noticing the heart rate. Maybe you can find it, maybe you can't. Either way, it's okay. The point here is to really connect with your inner experience. When you're ready, inhale, those hands come high. As you exhale, the hands separate, coming back down on either side of the hips. And then once again, inhaling up, letting the hands come together. This time, the left hand is going to come down. The right hand comes to the temple, bringing that ear toward the shoulder. Keeping the shoulders long and deep away from the ears. Just noticing the extension here. Holding the posture, never the breath. So you get choices here today. I want you to constantly be checking in with your body. Whatever I'm doing here doesn't really matter. It's about you listening and noticing the needs of your body today. Maybe you begin to gaze toward that knee, elongating a little bit differently here, feeling that back side of the neck. Lots of breath, not easy. When it feels right, moving that neck back to neutral, extending that hand high. Exhale, go ahead and draw that hand over, maybe bending into the other elbow and gazing at those underneath that armpit or maybe at those fingers. Just feeling the side body, pressing the opposite hip deeply into the mat to make sure your sits bones are staying rooted and even as much as possible here. So today I encourage you to be empowered to make choices that work for you. Inhale back up, both hands. Exhale, hands to heart center. Once again, checking in with your heart. What is your heart rate telling you about the needs of your body in this moment? When it feels right, we're going to come down and around, moving toward a tabletop posture. Maybe you come into child's pose first and just kind of rest here. I'm going to read some truth over you first. So there's a simple verse, this simple piece of scripture, and regardless of where you know your heart stands spiritually, I encourage you just to listen. Take in whatever value this simple verse might provide. It comes from Philippians chapter 4, and it says this: whatever is true, think on such things. Inhale, I want you to slowly round into the back like a cat. Draw yourself forward, and then you're going to draw your hips down toward the mat. So coming into an up dog, maybe just a cobra, bending into the elbows. If you're an up dog, perhaps you press into the tops of the feet and allow the knees to lift just off the mat, being sure the glutes aren't engaged here. And then when you're ready, go ahead and drop those knees down. Push yourself back with a rounded spine into that child's pose. Once again, finding the rest. Maybe you lift the wrists to activate a little bit deeper here, pulling the shoulders away from the ears. So whatever is true, think about such things. And as you round the spine and come forward once again, drawing the gaze up, dropping the hips down, just repeating that rhythm. I want you just to ground your body in the present. So whatever parts of you are engaged with the mat, grounded into the earth, I want you to notice that throughout our practice today. Coming to tabletop this time, and then just begin to wag the tail. Perhaps you feel the hips stretching a little bit. When it feels right, come to a neutral spine. We're just going to stretch into the back. So gaze up, tip the pelvis down. You want the belly to move so that it's lowering down, but you also want to make sure you're drawing that navel up at the same time. So it's this really active pose. You're protecting the low back. Exhale, chin to chest, round the spine, get super tall in the back, coming into cat pose. Maybe the feet stay tucked, maybe you untuck the toes, your choice, your way. A few more times, inhale back to back to cow, and just notice how that back feels as you extend and push away. It's vulnerable here with the heart shining forward in cow. A little more protected as you arch the back and protect the heart in cat. Just observations today, friends. No shame, no judgment. Neutral spine when it feels right, and then maybe extend the right toes back. Even with the hips, deep flexion in the foot keeps the leg alive and active, and then place that foot down. Maybe you notice some exterior noise, just asking that you press it away, let it come and let it go like sailboats on an ocean. Keep the leg lifted if you wish, or keep those feet grounded, those toes grounded. Maybe you lift the left arm, extending it forward or templing it on the mat in front of you. Whatever gives you what you're needing today is the right choice. There's no wrong choice. The only requirement is the breath. Extend that left hand down. Maybe you bend that left knee and push yourself into down dog. The right leg remains lifted. If you need the hip opener, go ahead and extend that knee, bending into the knee and allowing that hip to come open. Perhaps you make some small circles in the sky with that knee. Just really wriggling out the hips here, feeling your body. Extend into that leg and then bring the hips back square before you draw that right leg up between the hands. We're going to blade the back foot and then extend high, coming into warrior one. You want the hips square, so maybe as if you're driving a car, you imagine yourself with a wheel in front of you and just turning the wheel to the right, drawing that right hip back, the left hip forward. Maybe the hands come into prayer position at the base of your neck. Maybe they don't. When you feel ready, open it up, coming into warrior two, extending into that front knee. Be sure that you move that knee back just enough that you can see the front big toe. And then settle into the posture, strong in the arms, shoulders away from the ears. The only requirement is the breath, feeling your body extending straight into that leg, leaving a micro bend, and then drawing your body as far forward as you can before dropping that right hand down, extending the left hand high. If you want to stay here, you may. If you wish to wrap it or bind it, I invite you to do so, keeping the gaze lifted high or down toward the toes. Whatever is true, think about such things. Extending that hand back high on the inhale. We're going to pull the body back up. So bending into that knee, coming back into that warrior two posture. On the inhale, extending the hands high. Both legs come straight. Go ahead and allow those feet to come even, and then drawing yourself into a seated posture. Sitting down into this pose. Tucking the tail, you may notice the glutes want to extend back. I want you to tuck it under and sit down, just straight down into this posture with the hands at the heart. Notice what your heart needs here. Not easy. Deep breath, extending high on the inhale. This time we're going to come to warrior two on the back side of your mat. So opposite leg, left leg in front. Make sure the hands are strong, the shoulders away from the ears. Gazing over those top fingers if you wish. We're going to come to the same postures on this side. So when it feels right, straighten that front leg, extend the arm forward as far as you can go, and then let it drop down toward the toes. So this time the left hand reaches high. Maybe it stays there, maybe you wrap it or bind it. Gazing up toward the sky or down toward the toes, noticing what your neck needs. Lots of options here, my friends. Be empowered to choose what feels good for your body. Extending back up into warrior two, bending into that front knee, extending the hands out. And then when it feels ready, when you feel ready, we're gonna go ahead and extend back up, inhaling into that warrior one. So So kind of maneuver the back foot as you need to, bending into that front knee, making sure that this time the right hip presses back as the left hip crease presses. The right hip presses forward, the left hip crease presses back. Maybe the hands come into prayer position at the base of the neck, getting a nice stretch in the front of the arms. Hands high. This time we're going to open it back up into Warrior Two just briefly, and then inhale back towards center. Exhale, hands to heart center, sit into the posture. We won't be here long. Just notice what your body needs. Notice the parts of you that are talking to you. Making sure those glutes aren't extending back. And then when you're ready, come up on the inhale, extend into that Warrior Two. Once again, windmill the hands down. We're going to come through Vinyasa, or if you wish, come straight back to that down dog. If you want the Vinyasa, come through plank, and then exhale, the elbows come straight back. Chaturanga all the way down, lifting up into upward dog or cobra. This time as you exhale, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Maybe you pedal in, taking a break here. And then whenever it feels right for your body, let those knees come down, the hips come back, child's pose. You're invited to stay here if this feels right for you. If you wish to weave the hands through the legs, sometimes that feels really good. Just to relieve the low back of any tension. One cheek comes to the mat, resting here. So friends, we're in this unique time, this unprecedented time of quarantine. Time where we can't have the same freedoms that we once relied on. Maybe we find ourselves grappling for some semblance of control or empowerment. Maybe you turn the other cheek to the mat, just giving your neck a nice balanced experience. Whatever is true, think on such things. That maybe now more than ever, the only thing we can do is to truly stay fully alive in the present, experiencing our body, our emotions, our thoughts, in the present moment, staying true to what we know right now. That things change, the media changes, the news is changing. What we know tomorrow will look like is changing, but we can stay true to our experience in this moment. Letting your hands come back out if that feels good to you. And then in your time, when you feel ready, inviting your body to move once again, drawing back up to that tabletop posture. Maybe you wiggle the hips, maybe you don't. Just getting yourself a little bit acquainted with simple movement before we extend even more into the posture. Letting any noise around you just melt away, not disrupting you from this space of grounding into the moment. When it does feel right, coming center and then extending. This time the left toes come straight back. Deep flexion of the foot is going to keep you fully alive and active. Maybe the toes reach down to the mat, giving you more stability. If you wish, you can extend the right fingers forward. They can temple in front of your mat, coming down for that stability, or extending long. Maybe the foot lifts, maybe it stays where it is. Lots of choice. The only requirement today is the breath. When it feels right, you can stay here. Maybe you extend, putting that hand down, extending into that back leg, coming into downward facing with that left leg extended back, perhaps opening up the hips by letting that knee bend and opening, creating small circles in the sky with that knee, both directions. Just noticing how it feels, becoming an active participant of your inner experience. Extend that leg high and then draw that foot up through to the hands. Blade the back foot, preparing for Warrior One. Extend the hands high. You want to really extend into that back foot, making sure that You're blading on the outside edge of that foot, lifting that inner arch just a bit. Maybe the hands come to prayer at the base of the neck. Maybe they don't. That left hip crease is pressing back, the right hip pressing forward. Lots of breath. Inhale as you exhale, open it up, warrior two. Getting strong in the arms, making sure that that left knee is back far enough you can see the left big toe. Lots of breath, sinking into that front knee. Straightening the front leg, reaching as far forward as you can with that left hand. Extend down and extend the right hand high. Triangle pose, keeping a micro bend in that left front knee. Maybe you wrap it, maybe you bind it. Perhaps you stay just where you are. Lots of options today, my friends. Letting the breath be your guide. Inhale up, bending back into that knee, extending into warrior two once again. Coming up, letting the feet come central and then sitting into the posture. The heels may be just in a little deeper than the toes. Sitting into it with the hands at heart center. Check in with your heart space here. What are you experiencing in your heart? Maybe the hands come high and the arms come open if you wish for something different. Lots of breath, shoulders away from the ears. Being courageous enough to feel your body in this moment. Inhale, come tall. Exhale, warrior two on the opposite side. Right leg is in front. Settling in, making sure that knee is bent, but you can see that right big toe. Straightening the front leg, reaching as far forward as you can. Let the right hand drop down, the left hand come high. Triangle posture. Coming to the wrap or bind if you wish. So we're empowered to make choices, but the best thing we can do for ourselves is stay true in this moment, in the present. Extending that left arm back high toward the heavens, bending into the front knee, coming into warrior two once again, right leg forward. And then maneuver yourself so that that back leg can come into warrior one, just shifting the hips forward, squaring them off. Right hip crease presses back, left presses forward, staying here. Maybe the hands come to prayer at the base of the neck. Just notice how it feels, shoulders deeply drawing away from the ears. Not easy. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, they open to warrior two before inhaling back up, and then exhaling, hands to heart center as your glutes just press down. Inhale, exhale, open it up. Inhale, get tall. Exhale, warrior two, the back side. Left foot is forward this time. Windmill it down. Come back either into down dog or come through vinyasa flow. Plank, chaturanga all the way down. Inhale, up dog or cobra. And exhale, down dog. Good work. This time we're going to come to a resting posture for a moment. You can come to plank or modify the plank by dropping the knees. Inhale first, heart shines forward. Exhale, elbows come back. Body comes all the way down to the mat. Your belly comes down, your arms come alongside the hips. Palms face up, one cheek to the mat. Take up your rest. So friends, whatever is true, think on such things. In these unprecedented times, maybe we find ourselves longing for what we used to know, what used to be our normal, what used to feel familiar. That's okay. Maybe we find ourselves wondering what it'll be like when all this is over. Will things ever go back? Will they stay the same? But the only place that we can truly find peace is in this moment. Whatever is true, what we know to be true right now. Giving ourselves the gift of being fully alive in the present. It's not an easy task. Sometimes we find our brain wandering, our emotions feel rampant. But if we come to a deep breath, it requires that we take in the present. When you feel ready, you bring those hands below the shoulders. The chin comes to the mat, and then push yourself up the same way you came down. Coming back to tabletop and then walking your hands back. We're going to keep those toes tucked under. You're going to sit your glutes on top of the heels. So for some of you, this will be uncomfortable immediately. For others, maybe it'll take a moment. Inhale, reach the hands high. Exhale, bring them to heart center. So you want your weight shifted over those heels. Sitting tall, shoulders come out and down away from the hips. Extend the arms out and reach them wide before extending the left arm over the right, giving yourself a giant hug here. Reaching those fingertips for those shoulder blades on your back. Just embracing yourself in this moment. Maybe your feet start to get really tired or your shins start to tingle. If you want to untuck those feet at any time, you can. Just noticing the needs of your body. Making choices that feel right for your skin today. So it's courageous to be in the present, to feel our body, to feel our emotions, to notice our thoughts. Coming wide with the hands once again. This time, the right hand comes on top of the left, hugging yourself with the opposite arm on top, reaching for those shoulder blades. It requires that we listen and attune to the needs of our heart. It's countercultural, friends. It doesn't feel normal. It takes time and work to listen to ourselves. What is our body telling us about the needs of our heart? How can we approach ourselves with curiosity and grace versus judgment and shame? On the inhale, extend the arms wide once again. Maybe you sweep them high. On the inhale, exhale, the hands come to heart center. Check in with the heart space. Thumbs press into the heart rate. Notice the needs. Whatever is true, think on such things. Inhale, the fingers come high. Exhale, come down. Untuck the toes and tap those feet on the tops of the feet. You really want to extend into those feet, feeling just that relaxation after that really difficult posture. This time we're going to come back onto our back. So I want you to swivel your hips around whatever way you want to get there. There's no wrong choice here. Finding your way gently onto your back. Knees come into the chest, slowly and carefully. Just wiggling the knees side to side. Maybe you make small circles with those knees on the sky. Both directions, just feeling the hips here. Perhaps you find yourself needing a little bit more. You come into happy baby. Working hard to extend the back of the body onto the mat so the shoulders press down, the glutes press down. Maybe a slight bend or slight arch in that back creates a little more space for you to press those glutes to the mat. When you're ready, we're going to move just by bending that right heel in toward the center, extending the left heel long, deep inhale. As you exhale, you're going to draw the left knee in, the right heel is going to come long. Just opening up into the center of the thighs here. Inhale. The next inhale, as you exhale, pull that heel back in, the left heel extends. Super strong, your legs don't have to be straight. Just notice the needs of your body and your heart. A few more times of the rhythm of your breath, changing sides as you see fit. Whatever is true, think on such things. What is your body telling you in this moment? The here and the now. Pulling both heels in toward the center, letting the soles of the feet come together. Take a hold of the soles or maybe the ankles and then press the knees open and wide. Just feeling that here. Good. When it feels right, we're going to just continue to move here. I want you to notice what your body needs, taking any stretches that you find yourself needing. And then when you feel right, you're going to just slowly and carefully plant the feet down onto the mat, about 6 inches below the glutes. And then you're going to take the right leg, you're going to drape it across the top of that knee, letting the ankle just kind of drape here. Deep breaths here. Maybe you press that thigh away. Feeling that pressure. If that feels good, stay here. If you wish to lift the leg, and then begin to slowly just clasp your hands behind that left thigh, pulling that thigh in as you use the right elbow to push that right thigh away. Finding a lot of depth here and making sure those glutes are still pressing down, perhaps creating a slight arch in that low back just to be sure that the bottom body is really engaged here. Long and strong. Lots of breath. Both feet are flexed to engage all the muscle hugging around the bone in those legs. If you want to stay here, you may, or perhaps you draw the left toes back toward the mat. And this time we're going to take the hands out and across, just out to either side, and then begin to slowly just let that left knee come down toward the mat. The right foot's going to plant onto the mat, and then you're going to let that right knee just open up a little deeper as you gaze over the right fingertips. So just a subtle twist, noticing what your body's telling you. Being an active participant of your inner experience. It's courageous to be in our present. It's courageous to stay with what is true right now, the here and the now. Noticing the needs of our body and our heart. Maybe this feels perfect. You want to stay here a little longer. Maybe you're ready for something different. You move your body back up, letting that knee extend back, and then unwinding that leg. Taking the feet about hip width distance apart, or maybe a little wider than the mat, and just windshield wipering the legs here. Rejuvenating after that posture. When you do feel ready, planting the feet back, bringing them back about 6 inches below the hips. And this time we're going to lift the left leg, letting it drape across that right knee this time. That ankle drapes across the knee. You press your hand away. Maybe you lift the right knee up, clasping your hands behind the thigh here and pulling that right leg towards yourself. As you press with that left elbow, that left thigh comes away from the body. It's a really deep stretch. Small arch in the low back brings those glutes back to the mat, getting long on the back body. Holding the posture, never the breath. So when we don't find ourselves rooted in the past or focused on the future, we can find ourselves fully alive in the present, the way that God intended for life to be lived. Maybe you stay here. Perhaps if you feel ready, you let that right foot come back to the mat and then swivel the hips. The right knee kind of just settles down. The hands come out like a T. Gaze over the left fingers. This time, the left foot is planted and the left knee begins to open up. Nice twist here. So twisting kind of massages the inner organs. It allows our body to find balance. Homeostasis, a feeling of familiarity once again. Something that feels really necessary in this time where things are changing constantly. When you're ready, go ahead and bring those legs back up. Take the knees, unravel them, and then allow the feet to come hip width distance apart or wider, windshield wiper for a moment. Good work. When you're ready, we're going to move toward our final resting posture, but I encourage you to take any postures here that your body's craving or asking for before we finish. Maybe a long body stretch, maybe something else. And then we're going to finish in whatever posture feels really rejuvenating for you. So maybe it's the soles of feet come together, the knees come wide, kind of a reclined butterfly. If you have low back issues, maybe your feet come as wide as the mat, the knees kiss in the center. If you have a bolster, you can drape your legs long over a bolster, the bolster just coming underneath the knees, or maybe the legs just begin to move long, extending out, feet splaying open naturally. Finding your rhythm, your breath for these final few moments. So extending the hands long wherever you're at, allowing the palms to come up. Or if you want to be acquainted with your presence and your aliveness, maybe you just place one hand on the belly, one on the heart. Letting the body just come into full relaxation, whatever that looks like for you in this moment. And then allowing the breath to move to a neutral breath. So peeling the tongue away from the roof of the mouth, letting the jaw fall open. Not laboring the breath, but just kind of allowing it to come neutral and natural. Holding no tension in the jaw, but being really careful to take any expression out of the face and just letting the face come fully relaxed. The body fully relaxed. Whatever is true, think on such things. Allowing our bodies, our minds, our hearts, the movements in our muscles to be fully alive in the present. It takes courage, friends. It's not easy. It requires that we attune our hearts to our needs. Maybe that's new for us. Maybe that's not something that we learned as a child. So it takes great work for us to notice. Staying there as long as you need, and then if you wish, you may wiggle into the fingers and the toes, bringing the knees into the chest and then letting them fall to whatever side feels natural to you. The bicep comes up, creating a pillow for the head. Using the opposite hand to slowly and gently press yourself up, back to a seated position if you wish. One final inhale. As you exhale, bring the hands to the mind, keeping them focused on truth. The hands come to the heart, keeping the emotions rooted in truth. The hands extend down toward the knees, keeping the body alive in the present. Just being grateful for the time you had today, the few moments just to tune your body and your heart, your spirit to whatever is true.